In the heart of Lagos, where wealth rules and secrets rot in silence. A man feasts on souls to build his empire. His charm is money. His altar is blood. They say he's generous. But every full moon, a virgin disappears. This is no fiction. This is the story they begged us not to tell. His name is Chief Odum. And tonight, the gods are hungry. They called him Chief Odum, the silent billionaire. Tall, dark, and dangerously calm, his presence alone could hush a noisy room. No one knew how he made his money, but his black Rolls-Royce never stopped moving, and his skyscrapers in Lekki kept rising. Some said he was blessed. Others whispered, he was fed by blood. Every month, a girl went missing. Always young. Always beautiful. Always the last child of her mother. They vanished without a trace, no screams, no footprints. Lagosians called it coincidence. But in Makoko, the old women began to burn palm fronds and cry. They had seen this pattern before. Chief Odum never spoke to journalists. But he threw parties, private ones. Girls would arrive in tinted SUVs, smiling and dressed in gold. By morning, they were gone. The staff said, Oga Don travel. But the cleaners found blood on satin sheets, and feathers in the bathtub. It was supposed to be just another party. But when Chika's best friend, Ifeanyi, entered that SUV and never returned, Chika knew something was wrong. She worked at a TV station, and for the first time, she was ready to risk her job, her name, even her soul. Chika didn't believe in rituals, until the night she visited Ifeanyi's apartment. The girl's phone was on the bed, still buzzing, but the walls told a different story, 3 fresh fingernail scratches on the wooden door, and a faint trail of white chalk leading out the window. She ran to the police. They said, no proof, no case. But Chika knew Lagos well. Power can silence justice. So she turned to someone else, Mama Ejiro, the blind seer of Makoko. The woman smelled of ash and incense, and when Chika mentioned Odum's name, she trembled. Mama, Chika whispered, I need to know what happened to my friend. The old woman didn't answer. She reached into a calabash, pulled out 3 cowries, and cast them onto a blood-stained mat. Then she hissed, your friend has crossed into the belly of the night. Chika trembled. Is she still alive? Mama Ejiro shook her head slowly. She is now part of Odum's offering, one of many. And child, you carry her scent. If you don't stop, they'll come for you next. But Chika didn't turn back. Instead, she picked up her phone, and hit record.
That night, Chika uploaded a secret video to her backup drive. Then she dug deeper into Odum's empire. Beneath the oil companies, the hotel chains, and the charities, she found something chilling. A list of names. All girls. All missing. All last seen near Odum's private estate. Chika packed a small camera, a voice recorder, and a bottle of holy water. Tomorrow night, she would do the unthinkable, sneak into Odum's compound during his sacred ritual. Not for fame. Not even for justice. But for truth. Because in Lagos, the real devils wear gold, the mansion stood like a beast on the hill, black gates, blood-red lights, and a driveway that swallowed sound. Chika hid behind a fence, watching the guests arrive. Long black jeeps. Women in white lace. Men with no shadows. She snuck in through the servant quarters. The inside was colder than the night. No laughter. No music. Just whispers, and that smell, burnt flesh, perfume, and something ancient. The deeper she walked, the more the house felt like a tomb dressed in silk. She found the ritual room by mistake, a massive chamber under the house, hidden behind a crimson curtain. Candles and human skulls lined the floor. 7 virgins in white sat motionless in a circle. And in the center, Chief Odum, shirtless, his skin painted in black ash and red clay. Odum began to chant. The walls groaned. One of the girls levitated slightly, her eyes rolled back. Chica's heart raced. The pendant on her neck burned. But she couldn't move. Her feet rooted like a tree. Something unseen was holding her still. Suddenly, Odum turned. His eyes met hers, not with surprise, but with a slow, evil smile. "Ah, the witness," he said calmly. "You came just in time," and with a snap of his fingers, the ritual circle closed, with Chica inside it. Invisible hands dragged her forward. Her bag fell. Her voice recorder shattered. The pendant burned brighter, then cracked. Odum's voice dropped to a whisper. "You carry her spirit, the one we took last moon. But spirit must not return." Then came the scream. It didn't come from Chica, it came from the walls. A wail that shook the floor and made candles explode. Ifeanyi's voice. "I am not done," it cried. The ground split open, revealing a pit of burning bones. Odum screamed, seal it now." But it was too late. Ifeanyi's spirit rose in flames. She didn't come alone. Behind her, dozens of lost girls, screaming, burning, reaching, not for Odum, but for Chica. The spirits touched her, and everything changed. Chica's eyes turned silver. Her body floated. The voices of the dead poured into her ears like thunder. Odum backed away, trembling. For the first time, the predator had become prey. And then, silence. Chica collapsed. The spirits vanished. The fire died. When she woke, she was alone in the ruins of a temple. The girls were gone. Odum was gone, but carved into the wall behind her were 4 words. "We are not finished." Chica wandered out of the ruins barefoot, her ears still ringing. The road was gone. No sky. No stars. Just fog, and silence. Then, from the mist, a little girl appeared, barefoot, holding a burnt doll. "You shouldn't have looked," the child whispered. Chica collapsed again. But this time, she woke up in a hospital, surrounded by police. "You've been missing for 3 days," they said. "We found you in a swamp. Alone." But Chica knew better. She didn't just survive, she had been marked. The news broke days later, billionaire philanthropist Chief Odum missing. But Chica wasn't surprised, his home had burned to the ground. No survivors. No bones. No answers. Only a smear of ash and a single pendant. Ifeanyi's. But Odum wasn't dead. That night, Chica dreamed of him, shackled in a dark river, surrounded by screaming souls. "Release me," he begged. "I'll give you anything." But the spirits pulled him deeper, and deeper, until there was only silence. When she awoke, something had changed. Chica could see people's auras, light or darkness. On the street, she saw a pastor glowing. A beggar burning. A woman holding a child, with no shadow. The world was no longer simple, she knew what it meant. Odum's ritual didn't just try to kill her, it woke something ancient inside her. The spirits hadn't let her go. They had chosen her, as their voice. Their witness. Their justice. Her phone buzzed, an anonymous message: "If you want to know the truth about Odum, come to the old shrine in Bariga. Midnight." She didn't hesitate. Truth had a cost. And she was already paying it. The shrine was old, abandoned, decaying. But it breathed. Red cloths hung from trees. Animal skulls lined the path. Inside, a man waited. Not a priest. Not a ghost. But something in between. "You came," he said, "before they found you." He told her the truth. Odum had made a deal with a goddess, wealth in exchange for pure souls. He offered the innocent, the man said, "but you disrupted the balance." Chica asked, "Then what am I now?" He replied, "You are dead unpaid." As she left the shrine, wind howled. Leaves moved without wind. The sky above her cracked like glass. The man's voice echoed one last time, "The next daughter has been chosen, and this time, you must choose." Save her, or save yourself. Chica didn't sleep that night. The man's words haunted her. Save her, or save yourself. But who was the next daughter? She searched through her photos, audio files, even her dreams, and then she saw it, the face. The same girl from the hospital. The one with no shadow. Her name was Amara, just 13. An orphan. Soft-spoken, vanished after her hospital visit. No record. No discharge. But Chica knew where to look. Not hospitals. Not streets. Shrines. Hidden places. Places the dead whispered about. That night, Chica entered the second shrine, the one behind the old cemetery in Ikoyi. The smell of blood was stronger. And on the floor, children's slippers. Tiny ones. Amara's. And written on the wall in chalk, midnight. Or she belongs to the river. Time was a knife. She ran. Back alleys. Rain. Mud. The riverbank behind Third Mainland Bridge, and there she was, Amara, dressed in white, standing at the edge, with two figures behind her, both faceless, both humming. Stop. Chica screamed. The humming ceased. The figures turned, not men, not spirits. Hybrids. With cow heads and human torsos. They hissed. But Chica didn't stop. She stepped into the ritual ring and screamed one word, enough. The river rose violently, crashing into the circle. But it didn't touch her. The pendant around her neck, Ifunanya's cracked charm, glowed white. The beasts roared, but the water swallowed them whole. And Amara collapsed into Chica's arms. She carried Amara through the flood like a mother fleeing war. Every step burned. Every shadow reached. But the spirits didn't stop her. They watched. Some wept. Others bowed. For the first time, they had been heard. When dawn came, she returned Amara to the orphanage. No questions. No answers. Just a quiet hug. The little girl whispered, I saw her, the woman in white. She said you're the bridge. The one who walks between life and loss. Chica didn't go home. She couldn't. Not anymore. The world had changed. She now heard voices in walls. Saw markings in puddles. Faces in mirrors. She wasn't haunted, she had become the haunting. A letter arrived a week later. No stamp. No sender. Inside it, a single photo of Chief Odum, alive, inside a gold-trimmed shrine in Kano. And scrawled behind it. He has returned. Stronger. The spirits began to whisper louder. One warned, if Odum completes the second ritual, no light will survive. Another cried, he seeks the heart of night, the final girl. Stop him, or lose the world. So she packed a single bag. No weapons. No backup. Only the pendant and her recorder. She boarded a night bus to Kano. A woman beside her looked at her and said, you carry the smell of unfinished things. Kano was hotter. Slower. But the darkness moved faster. She followed whispers to a market where a man sold bones. He looked at her and said, you seek the one who walks on ash? He's already gathering blood. That night, she found the third shrine, guarded by dancers. Their faces painted white. They moved without sound, eyes blank, feet bleeding. But they let her through. The dead know you, one whispered. Inside, she saw him. Chief Odum. Alive. Younger. Stronger. Surrounded by girls in red. He smiled at her like an old lover. Welcome back, Chica. You're just in time. The final soul is you. The floor opened beneath her. Odum flew into the air, arms wide. Lightning circled. Chica screamed, but not in fear. In power. Her eyes turned silver again. And behind her, Ifunanya returned, with an army of forgotten daughters. They clashed. Not with fists. With time. Memory. Fire. Each chant cracked the sky. Odum summoned storms. Chica summoned truth. And truth, once spoken, cannot be unspoken. With her final breath, Chica unleashed the name. The real name of the goddess Odum served. Spoken only once every 1,000 years. The moment she said it, Odum burst into black fire, and was no more. The world shifted. The shrine vanished. The sky cleared, but Chica was never seen again. Only a single pendant was found where she last stood, glowing, cracked, and still warm. Some say she died. Some say she became spirit. But the oracles say this: if ever darkness rises again in Lagos, look to the river. She walks there still. The girl who walked between the living and the lost.